We welcome you to Phillies Postgame Live, presented by Cure Auto Insurance. 9-3 Phillies, Ricky Bo. You know the old saying, they really needed that. They sure did. So did Alec Bohm. Aaron Nola we'll get to, but to get 9 runs, Bohm with 4 runs batted in. Thoughts overall on a nice Phillies win?
Overall, I think it was just one of those games where everybody offensively kind of had to chip in. And, you know, maybe the Alec Bohm home run got everybody going. Granted, you look at Trey Turner, he was 4 for 5 in this game. This guy couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat lately. Next thing you know, he's got 4 hits in a game. You've got to give him a lot of credit tonight. I think, you know, the way Alec Bohm kind of played tonight, he almost looked very relaxed, which is something we haven't seen from him. And I just liked his at-bats. I liked that he was noticing pitches. It wasn't just one pitch he was hitting. We saw him hit a fastball. I saw him hit a changeup. He was hitting all types of pitches. So to me, that's a big type of battle. I mean, when you're up at the plate, if you're not seeing the pitches come out of the hand, you're in trouble. I mean, you're already, you know, a step going in the wrong direction. But what I did like is that he continued to progress throughout the game. And I thought Alec Bohm had a hell of a game. I mean, good for him. He deserved it. He needed it more than anything else. And it's very odd. The 2 guys that we were throwing out there today before the game that needed to step up did. And that's Alec Bohm and that's Trey Turner.
We sure did. In fact, let's go next level with Alec Bohm, presented by Oceans Casino and Resort. It is Alec Bohm, not 1 home run, but 2 home runs on the night. Here we go, Ricky Bo. You're looking at this at the bottom of the 3rd on a 2-0 count. And you talk about relaxed. He ripped that.
He just stayed back on the ball. And let's face it, you're going to usually put a good swing on a pitch. If it's a 2-0 count and you're looking fastball and the pitcher's dumb enough to throw a fastball down the middle, you're going to hit it. And I think Alec Bohm, you give him credit for looking in the right spot. You give him credit for getting barreled the baseball. That's what that was all about. And he got himself into a good count. So all 3 good things happened.
Tell us about this one and what you see in his approach here.
This is a 1-2 count. I mean, he didn't quite get that as much as you would love him to get it. He stayed back just enough to get the barrel to it. But you also have to understand, he had a 1-2 count, and he fouled off 2 pitches in this sequence, and then finally got something he could get the barrel to. He gets underneath it. You see the backspin on the baseball, which gives him just enough to get out into the left field seats. I thought that was one of his better at-bats of the night.
And remember, he's batting in the 9th spot, so he's trying to work his way back up the lineup. Here we go with runners on 1st and 2nd, JT Realmuto, Brandon Marsh, and 1 down the line, Ricky Bo. 2 runs come in. And Alec Bohm is doing it any way you want it.
The whole thing there, this is a first pitch. He's bombarding the pitcher here, and this is just a hanging garbage changeup. If you see it, it's up in the zone. And I mean, when a guy sees a pitch up in the zone, especially a right-handed hitter, the eyes are going to light up. He hits it down the left field line, ends up with a double. 3 extra base hits tonight for Bohm.
Looked sweet for Alec Bohm tonight. In fact, did you know, presented by our friends at Meineke, Alec Bohm tonight had a very special night, tied a career high for most total bases in a game with 10, most hits in a game, 3 since September of last season, 5th career multi-home run game, the first since April of 2024, first RBI game since June 11th, 2025, and a career high for most extra base hits in a single game, which is 3, and this all comes after a 2-day rest, Ricky Bo.
Yep.
And he told Tom and John he did not touch a bat, and that was by order of Don Mattingly. On Thursday, he said yesterday he got back to it, and you thought yesterday that was such an important thing, that he just do relatively little and kind of let the game come back to him.
It's almost like what you do is take in what other people are doing. Instead of worrying about yourself, instead of going into the cage every 5 minutes and trying to take, 200 swings in the day, it's almost one of those things where sometimes you have to take a step back. We all play golf. When you try harder, when you squeeze the club harder, what happens? It gets worse. And I think he was getting to that point right now where I think everything was just getting worse and everything was going backwards for him. How do you get that to stop, reset, and go the other direction? You clear your head day.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big clear your head type guy, but I believe that it helped him. I think this is one of those things that maybe it was just time for him to forget about the game of baseball for one day.
Yep, and you talk about gripping that bat too tight.
Yep.
That may have been the case because he sure looked
good
relaxed.
today.
This evening, 2 home runs.
Fun to watch.
2 runs batted in on that double and 4 RBI total on the evening for Alec Bohm. Meanwhile, Bryce Harper, and you might be asking, where was he? Well, he was in the game defensively in the first inning, actually had a putout, unassisted. Second batter of the game is a runner on first, Julian, and then the second batter is Moniak, Mickey Moniak, the former Philly. Harper's got that, tags the bag, thought about going to second, but knew he wasn't going to get Julian at second, and then was removed, Ricky Bo, after the top of the first due to migraine. And that is interesting because Harper now is the third Philly this season, Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter, and now Bryce Harper to leave with migraines.
Very odd.
Yeah, it is odd.
I mean, I don't know. I don't believe you can catch a migraine from somebody else, but it is very strange. I don't know about you, but I've never heard about 3 migraines on the same team within the same, 2.5 week period?
Yeah.
That seems like a lot. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on in there, but if it is, or is this just the new, something else, but we're just going to call it a migraine?
Well, it's funny because I had a friend text me saying, you know what, as a professional athlete, you leave the game with a migraine. And I wanted to text back. In fact, maybe I will, saying if you've never had a migraine, then you don't know.
No,
because
but
they're absolutely excruciating.
There's absolutely no doubt. It's a horrible thing. But, I mean, when you really kind of peek back and say, how did 3 guys get it in that period of time?
Bizarre. It truly is.
It is bizarre.
Here's Don Mattingly in the clubhouse. He addresses the win and Bryce Harper leaving the game with the migraine.
How good do you feel for Alec?
Oh, obviously, it's good to see that. And, for us and for him, I mean, that was the first one was big, get us back in the game there. Obviously, there's a lot of good stuff that happened tonight. What probably goes forgotten is the defensive play stop makes. It ends up being a solo homer by Sosa there instead of 2. I mean, Trey made some great plays. Felix over at first. I thought the play Sosa made in left center, if he can pop up there, he probably saves us a run there too. So a lot of good things defensively. Obviously a lot of good stuff. Trey, I mean, bullpen was good. Banks, good out of the pen. Shug, Meza gets us a big out there in the 5th. Just kind of up and down. It's good. Obviously, the Schwarb homer, just a good little bounce back game for us.
On that second Bohm homer, he goes and gets that knuckle curve low in the zone. Would you make it that swing?
I mean, I just see it like live. I didn't go back and try to look at it, but obviously it's kind of knuckle. It's a knuckle curve you think he throws, or curveball that just stayed down and basically a line drive. It just gets out, and obviously just happy for him, and happy for the club, right? Him being able to be a part of it.
Is Harper feeling any better?
They just had migraine. Paul came in, thought he'd be available tomorrow, but obviously we'll see.
Was there an inkling before the game he was gonna hey, I have this, but I'm gonna try to play through it or anything like that?
We didn't hear anything until come off the field there.
There have obviously been some struggles against lefties to start the season. What did you like about how they approached Freeland tonight versus maybe what you've seen over the past month?
Well, each guy's individually different, right? You can't put Sale and Freeland in the same category, or even him. They're all different, right? So they kind of bring different challenges to your club. Tonight, hopefully we're just getting better against them, and we're going to be good against them. So that's a good start. I think we beat 2 in a row, right? So that's a good start.
What did you think of Nola's outing?
I thought he was fine. Honestly, I like the mix. He got hurt by the fastball to Castro there. I think he got him in Colorado too, soft, and then looked like he tried to go up in him with either the 4 or the cut. He just didn't get it there. And then the Karros ball, I know it looked like he's trying to go down and away there, just leaked back to the middle a little bit. So, but overall, I like the way he's throwing the ball.
Is the difference between like Monday's start and tonight's start just location?
You talking about with Nola?
Yeah, with Nola.
Yeah, I think each club is going to be a little different. And, the Miami start, it felt like he didn't hardly make any mistakes. And if he did, he got away with them. But obviously tonight, the balls that leaked, cost him some runs. But overall, I think he's throwing the ball good. I think he's in a good spot right now for us.
What did you mentioned the one big out from Meza. What did you like about that spot to go with him? And he's thrown a bunch for you the past couple of days. What do you like about him in all these different spots?
Well, we looked at him as short tonight. Like he's been throwing, he threw 2, and so it was kind of up and in, and tried to keep him short. Their guy Johnson there, he's killing righties. He's a good hitter. I've seen him since he's been young, and you just don't want to give him a shot. I think it's 6-3 there. You don't want to give him another shot. Nola there, force them to make a move. Just opens up our bullpen for later if they do. They didn't. They let some of their lefties hit tonight, which kept them in the game if it got close.
Your right-handed hitters had like 11.
You heard Don Mattingly say that head athletic trainer Paul Buchheit came in and said Bryce Harper should be okay to go tomorrow after the migraine that causes departure tonight. But then Mattingly added, but we'll see. And indeed, we will tomorrow afternoon. We'll take a break. More interviews, more analysis from Ricky Bottalico as we continue Postgame Live.